Hi guys, it is Velvet Hearts here and today I am filming my sixth form experience video. I felt like if I didn't do it now, I'll never do it. I planned this for ages. I've even written down most of what I want to say and stuff so I don't forget. But yeah, this is going to be my sixth form experience video, so I hope you enjoy it and hopefully it's helpful for some of you starting sixth form or contemplating whether you want to do sixth form or college. Yeah, so let's jump straight into it. So my lovely neighbours have got their gardeners round and they've decided to cut the grass, which is so lovely. So that's probably why I'm going to have to keep starting and stopping the video, which is really annoying. Okay, so let's start off with last September. Basically my view on sixth form was it's the best route to go to get into university, which is kind of naive of me. I didn't really consider college at all back then. I kind of wanted to follow in my sister's footsteps. She went to the sixth form I went to, and we also went to that school for 5 years beforehand, so I kind of wanted to follow her in that way, and then go to university. So the 4 subjects I took, just to say, I think now you only take 3 subjects, but back then we had to do 4. So the 4 subjects I took for A-levels was psychology, biology, sociology and health and social care. I nearly forgot. Now you can imagine that's pretty heavy. Biology is really difficult, I was kind of warned about that. Psychology and sociology I got told were pretty simple, and health and social care is just a lot of coursework really. So in September, the first thing I kind of realised was my sixth form took on a lot of people. The whole year group, there was 300 people, which was kind of crazy. The sixth form area was very cramped, there wasn't really enough tables. The library area which we had was just constantly full and constantly noisy. All the classes I had were pretty big. In sociology there was 30 people, in psychology there was a lot of people as well, and biology there was a big class as well, but the only one which didn't really have that many people was health and social care, and I think we had 8 people in that class, which is kind of what I expected A-level classes to be like. I expected them to be quite small and compact so the teachers can teach you really well and get to know you one-to-one, but that just wasn't the case, and that's what I was kind of confused about, because when I was watching YouTube videos on other people's experiences, everyone kind of mentioned the fact classes are a lot smaller and it's easier to learn, which it wasn't the case with mine, and I think it's because the government have now made it so everyone under 18 has to be in education. You used to be able to leave at 16, but now you have to stay till 18, so loads of people wanted to go to sixth form, and my sixth form just took on way too many people to be able to cope. The resources were really strained, and it did have an effect on the teaching there. So another thing I'm just gonna warn you guys about, and which I found quite shocking to be honest, was the prices of the books for your sixth form classes. You have to buy your own textbook to use at home, etc., for extra studies, and they're not cheap. In sociology we actually got given them, which was really nice, but health and social care you had to pay, and they were I think it was £21. Psychology they wanted us to pay for as well, and biology they also wanted you to pay for them, and that was around £20 as well, so it all really did add up, along with all the stationery you have to buy. You don't get textbooks given to you or notepads or anything. In sixth form you have to provide them all yourself, and you also need really good lever arch folders, so not the tiny ones, you need the big ones, and throughout the year I went through about 3 in each subject, so it is really heavy. I would warn you guys, if there's a tip I could give you, is get a locker. Honestly, they'll save your back, especially if you're walking to and from school. like if you've got like 4 subjects in one day, or like 3 subjects in one day, that's like 3 or 4 lever arch folders plus the books, like the revision guides or like the textbooks you have to use in class. As well as that, it does start to weigh down your bag. Also bring a backpack. Do not bring like a fashionable bag, because literally everyone who brought a really nice bag, not practical one, like just like a handbag, and like filled it all up, literally they broke within a space of a week, because your bag gets so heavy and you have to lug around so much. So that's kind of like a heads up for you guys as well. Basically, another tip is, or like something I've learned, you have to be organised from the beginning. To be able to do well, you need to have like your folders organised constantly, because you'll constantly be referring back to past lessons. You have to be up to date on your work as well to stay ahead of the game, and you need to be revising basically from the start. So if you're starting A-levels now, revise now. Like literally, they always say definitely start revision before Christmas, and after Christmas you kind of go downhill, and so many people put it off, but you need to like learn the stuff. A lot of people expect it to be very similar to GCSEs in the fact like the stuff you're learning, and honestly it is not. It is so in depth. If you've picked a subject just because your friends have done it, you've got it completely wrong, because you're gonna have to learn to love the subject, and even if you do love it, you're gonna start to hate aspects of it. Like in biology, we done about sugar and plants, and I did not have any interest in them, but you have to learn them, and you have to learn everything about them, and it's just so in depth, and I don't think people realise how difficult it is. Like GCSEs is such a walk in the park compared, and that's something that I didn't realise. I done really well in GCSEs. I got 1A, I think 5 or 6 Bs and the rest Cs, so I passed everything. But my god, sixth form is so much more difficult. That's another thing I didn't really realise, how much work it is. Like my health and social care teacher at the time was like, right, every single hour in lesson you're meant to do 3 hours of like further study at home, and each teacher doesn't really understand the fact you have other A-levels you're doing, and they just want you to prioritise their lesson, which is so annoying sometimes. But yeah, just use your study periods really wisely. To be honest, I got to the point where I just hated it. I needed a break, and me and my friends went down to like McDonald's or Asda to get pizza, and that was only like 1 hour a week, but we still really should have used that for studying. But to be honest, you can't study the whole of your life. You need to have compromise, you need to have breaks, and you need to stay motivated, which is really difficult. Okay, so I'm going to get into like specific subjects now. So I done psychology. I was so excited to do it. Everyone I know had basically said how amazing it was and everything, and I hated it, honestly. From the time I started, I just found it so confusing. I had no previous experience of the lessons or the subject before, and I just didn't like it. It wasn't just one teacher, we had 3 different teachers, which was kind of confusing because you had to have different folders for each one. You had like 3 loads more homework and like further study work, and it was just so much. What also didn't help is the psychology teachers were so inconsistent. So what I mean by that is they wouldn't turn up a lot, and that was so annoying. You need to learn the stuff, and you have so much work to fit into like a tiny year, and when teachers don't bother coming in, it really does affect your grades, and you just can't learn it basically. So I hated psychology, honestly, and also one of the teachers really didn't like me, and I think it's because she previously had taught my sister for another subject and kind of had didn't really like my sister, so automatically judged me and like picked on me at the start of the year, like from the beginning. I also didn't really like the way they taught. They were just like, the classes were so big you couldn't really learn properly in it, and it was just too much, and I really didn't like that lesson. I started to struggle keeping up with work with psychology, and it was starting to affect my grades of like biology, sociology and health and social care. I was literally just so tired all the time in September because it was just so difficult having 4 subjects, like, and these are heavy subjects, so like these aren't easy. A-levels are not easy. So as I was saying, I did not like psychology at all, and I decided to make the decision to try it and drop it. I just felt like it wasn't beneficial for me, and I knew I only needed 3 subjects to get into university, and I felt like I would do better if I just focused on them 3 subjects. So I went to sixth form, and honestly it was like a constant battle with them. They just were so bad at communicating with us. So I went there and they were like, no, you have to do 4. If you drop a subject, you then do supervised study, which is basically where you go in a room with other people who are only doing 3 subjects and you study there. And I just thought like I would get so much more work done. And I literally begged them. I was like, please let me drop it. Like, I did not want to do psychology anymore. It just stressed me out. It made me feel ill every lesson. I just hated it, and I just found it to be so much work, and it just wasn't worth it for me. And sixth form, this one teacher in particular was a complete arsehole, and he was like, no, you can't drop it, you cannot drop it, like you need 4 A-levels to go to university. And I was like, no I don't, I've done my research. It's like, yes you do. And I swear he was just saying that to make the school look good, because if you do 4 A-levels and you come out really well, like that puts their ratings up, if you get me. So they just did not care about like my feelings and how stressed I was, and it was honestly just so useless. And that's like, sixth form management just did not know what they were doing. Like the 2 heads of houses, which were like in charge of the sixth form pretty much, just were clueless most of the time. I literally begged them. I think my parents ended up ringing up and saying, look, she wants to drop it, she won't go to any more lessons. I refused to go to the psychology lessons. I just hated it that much. So finally I managed to drop it, but he was like, you do understand you're not going to get into university with 3 subjects. And I was like, what? It's like, yeah, you need to sign this to basically say that it's not our fault and that you're willing not to go to university because you've decided to drop a subject. And I just thought to myself, like, how ignorant of you to say I'm not going to university. I just found that so fucking annoying. Like, you can get, like, there's other people I know are only doing 3 subjects in other sixth forms because they say it's just too much to do 4. And yet, like, it's been such an asshole, like, saying I'm not going to get into university. And I was like, do you know what, like, I didn't like him, and I just was like, right, I'm dropping out, I'm fine, like, I don't care right now. So I started supervised study, which really helped me. It kind of picked up my grades for sociology and health and social care because I had more work to do for them. I had like coursework, etc., and it just helped me a lot. So when I dropped psychology, it got a lot better, to be honest. I felt a lot less stressed and I could focus on other subjects, especially biology and health and social care, because health and social care there was a lot of coursework and it was quite a heavy subject for that. A lot more frees and studies sessions, so I'd done a lot more work, and that's when I kind of got a bit more on top of things. Biology is a really difficult subject. It was like, it's a whole new syllabus basically, not a syllabus but like it's like the whole new content, which had nothing to do with the stuff we'd done for GCSE, so it's like completely fresh, if you get me. So it was meant to go along with the new GCSEs, but obviously we didn't do the new GCSEs, so we didn't have any link between GCSE and A-level biology. I'd done double science, so I didn't have like that much further understanding of biology from that. It was all quite basic, and biology A level is so difficult. It is just so heavy and so confusing, and honestly you need to do your research for it. There's YouTube channels which really help me understand a lot of stuff and all of that, but the teachers for biology, oh, okay, so first of all we had 3 teachers, like 3 different teachers, and each one we were doing something different with out of the textbook, so it was quite confusing because you couldn't just focus on one thing, you had to learn this and this all at the same time, so it was a lot of extra work and a lot of like homework, just to have a good understanding, and you had to do so much research. Now one of the teachers was heavily pregnant at the start of September, so I think she was due around December time, which meant she was going to be leaving us, which sucked because I actually really liked her and I had such a good understanding with her. Like, I knew how she taught and I liked it. The other teacher was okay but wasn't as good, and like one of the other teachers, like the 3rd teacher, just didn't have a clue. Like, he knew, he's been to university etc, I just don't think he knew how to teach, and even when he did try and help us, he only really helped the ones which he knew was going to do good in, like the ones that would get like A's and stuff. If I asked for help, he would literally just go through it exactly the same way as he did before, which I just didn't understand. So I felt like it was all down to me and I just didn't have a good understanding with that teacher. So that kind of was a bit shit, to be honest, but I had a really good biology partner, Catherine. She was so lovely. Still friends today. She's so brilliant, and she kind of helped me with biology and we kind of helped each other. She's still doing it to this day. The pregnant teacher left in like the start of December, which we just had loads of supply teachers which just didn't know biology very well, and you needed to know the stuff to be able to teach it. Eventually we did get a new teacher. But she didn't even realise like biology was a subject. I think she was from like Afghanistan, I think that's where they said, but she didn't understand English that well. Like, she could talk it, but to be honest she literally just copied the textbook and put it on a PowerPoint and tried to read the PowerPoint, and we couldn't really understand her. This isn't like, I'm not bashing her because she'd done her best, it's just it wasn't good for us. Our class just couldn't be bothered because she just wasn't teaching very well. She wasn't teaching it, she was just like putting it on the board and telling us to copy it down, which isn't how we learn. Along with that, we had to do loads and loads of practicals to be able to get like the practical side of the assessment done, which we still didn't do. Like, I haven't got a certificate or anything, but yet we put so much time into that. Basically, biology is such a heavy subject. There's so much in it, and they like doubled the content of it, which is crazy. Like, the year before us didn't have half as much work as we had to do, and we didn't even finish the whole topics, to be honest. So I went to sixth form and was like, can I have some extra help please with biology? And they're like, well, let's see what you get in your mocks, because we had, in like January we had mocks, and I was like, can I not just have stuff now? Like, can I have extra sessions or something? Because I knew I was falling behind and I just didn't understand it very well. They're like, no, let's wait. And I was like, oh, fine then. And we waited like, I think 2 months for the results. So that's like 2 months I could have had extra help in, but they just didn't want to give it out. And I got my mock results, and I think I got an E in biology, but literally the whole year group got a U. So that's kind of like showing how difficult it was. So then I was like, can I now have extra help? And they're like, yeah, we're organising it. Like, when I asked for extra help, I thought it meant like one-to-one with teachers, like to actually help me, but no, like I got a letter in the post and it was like a review of the mock exam, which I went to, and literally everyone, there was like 30 people, and we went in this class after school, and it was literally just the teacher just telling us the answers, for the mock result, for the mock exam, and it was just so pointless. Like, they weren't even teaching us it, they were just telling us the answers. Like, we had no idea how to get these answers, we just got told them. Like, it's annoying because they didn't tell us the process in which it like made sense or anything. It was just so bad. So I went back and I was like, can I have some more extra help? And they're like, yeah, we're going to organise even more, etc. So basically every time I asked for help, they would like give me the wrong date, or I would show up and the teacher wouldn't be there, and I got no help at all. It was just useless. At the end of like, I think it was May time, my dad got me a tutor to help me with biology, and honestly, if it wasn't for that, I think I'd be clueless about biology. Honestly, it was just, we hadn't finished the content and we hadn't learnt it properly, and he went through everything with me, which was really, really helpful. Despite doing that, I still came out with a bad grade at biology, which I was so gutted about, but yeah. I definitely recommend getting a tutor, even though they are very expensive, but if you need the help and your sixth form isn't providing for it, you kind of need to go out your own way to get the help, if you get me. For sociology, I actually really enjoyed sociology. I loved the content. We done families and education, and I loved it. Honestly, they're like my favourite things to do with sociology. The sociology teacher I had before, he was my tutor for the previous like 5 years, and he was so lovely. I really liked the way he taught, but not many people did. Like, he would tell us the information and we would have to write it down in our own way, or like he would tell us to draw pictures next to it, and that really helped me. The other teacher, because we had two for sociology, the other teacher we had once every week, and he was useless. He did not bother learning the new syllabus because he decided he wanted to retire. He would just complain to us all the time and not help us at all. He would just like stand around saying, oh, well, I don't really want to do this, so you guys can just get on with it. So that was annoying. I understand his frustration. He really didn't like the class size we had. There was like 30 people, and he just did not feel like he could teach with so many people. And our class was quite overwhelming as well. They were quite loud. It's just not what I imagined sixth form to be like, to be honest. But he left, and we eventually got a really nice teacher who made such a good effort with people. I just feel like people kind of gave up on sociology because they had such a bad start with it. But the teacher we had, who was Mr. Holmes, he was so lovely. He made such an effort with everyone, and he really tried to help us. So I'm really thankful for that. So between the two sociology teachers, I actually really enjoyed sociology. Which leads me on to health and social care. I actually really enjoyed health and social care. We had a really small class, and I really liked my class. The only thing I'd say is we had a lot of coursework, and it was very up in the airs about coursework because we would get given really weird timings for it. So like each week we'd meant to do like a piece of coursework which should then be marked the next week, but honestly I didn't get all of my pieces marked until like June time. Yeah, health and social care was alright for me. I didn't really have any complaints on that. The only tips I would say is definitely do your research when it comes to coursework and just try your best. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people should do well in health and social care if you like coursework based stuff. The exam wasn't too hard compared to like biology, so I liked that side of things as well. The health and social care teacher was really supportive, like made sure we were okay, and actually gave a shit about our feelings, which I really liked. When it comes to friendship groups, I made such a real group of people. Like, I met them. Laura off YouTube, I'm going to leave Laura's and Catherine's channels down below, but I met them through sixth form and they are just brill. And also Samuel, good old Sam. I did have friends there, so that was okay in that aspect. I just did not like the school. So I'm gonna now tell you guys my results. For health and social care, I came out with a B in my AS results. For sociology, I got a D, which I was a bit surprised about, as I worked my arse off. And for biology, I got a U, which I was absolutely gutted about. I have no idea how that was a massive shock to me because I thought I was doing okay, but apparently not, and a lot of people came up with a U in that. So that's kind of my experience. I'm sorry if this is a really long video. I kind of just wanted to sum it all up for you guys. If you guys want any tips for A-levels, let me know. But this is just an honest, real video from me, and it is my experience. I hope you guys have a better experience if you're going to sixth form. I hope your sixth form makes more effort and you get really good teachers. Good luck if you guys are going to sixth form this September. I wish you like the best sixth form experience ever. I hope your experience was more fulfilling than mine if you are going or if you've been before. Let me know your experiences with GCSEs or sixth form, or what to expect, etc. down below. Like, if you guys are going to sixth form, what do you expect for it to be like, or what's your first impressions, etc. Let me know down in the comments. I hope you guys have the most amazing year. This video, big thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I love you all lots, and goodbye.